welcome back to the Inner Circle Boardroom's Backstage Pass. This is the channel for busy professionals on the go. I suspect that's you. You're out there looking for opportunities. Well, this is the channel where I discuss business, finance, and leadership with special guests like the one I have today. My objective with this channel is to create content that educates and informs, looking at the gaps, but also the opportunities. So if you enjoy the conversation, don't forget to subscribe with the bell icon at the bottom, which says subscribe. Our special guest today is somebody I've known for a while. I'm delighted that he's been able to join us today. He's a busy guy, getting his business bootstrapped and kicking again. Still has a very interesting background. In fact, he had a PhD in philosophy and worked in a number of businesses before becoming an entrepreneur. Now, his passion was actually to go out and help people reskill and get re-educated and upgrade their skills. So I was really interested to have a conversation to find out what's going on in the ecosystem of learning and development, and who better to have on than our special guest today. Now, they're operating internationally and they provide over 300 courses, somebody who knows about what's going on in the marketplace. So thank you so much for joining us today. Just for the sake of our audience, tell us a bit about your company and what's the impact of business. Give us a pre-COVID and how you guys have been reacted to that.
Thank you, Kay. Just to introduce myself, my name is Abdel Hantouli. I've been in business and management over 37 years in the UK. In terms of business, what we are facing in our training sector, we've seen a steep decline in March. It was an unexpected decline in March, I think, because most of the information we used to have from the government or from the media, it wasn't sufficient enough for us to make a decision at that time. So towards middle of March, we've seen a huge number of cancellation registration from our clients, because we deal with the clients from, as you said, 21 countries, now nearly 30 countries around the world. So we've seen a huge amount of cancellation coming through our system, and it was a shock to the way we do things.
For the sake of the audience, just give them an idea of the number of courses you guys had going on.
I mean, we deliver about 30 courses a week around the world. We deliver them in 25 cities, and we have customers from over 30 countries, which they come to us on weekly basis. So we're extremely busy, over 30 courses a week, with various number per course. So it was a very busy period for us beforehand. And the irony of that, we had a meeting with our trainers in a hotel in London, and we're discussing the future in January and how we're gonna double our business in January. And suddenly everything in March was, changes. So it took us by surprise, to be honest. It was a shock to our system.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's a good shock now. We learned from it. But at the time, of course, nobody was expecting this COVID business. Everybody was, business was booming. Everything was looking good. Learning and development, people spending lots of money in that area to improve their employees. And suddenly everything comes to standstill. So mid-March, we have suffered greatly.
Yeah, well, that's 120 courses on a monthly basis. And when you multiply that by 12, not only the trainers, but also the people who are consuming the content and upgrading their skills as well. So did you have to shift your model in any way? I know that you guys tend to do more in-person training.
Well, before we from March, we didn't have the online training elements of it. We were thinking about it 3-4 years ago, but at that time, because of the makeup of our customers, it didn't lend itself to our business, to our model of business. Our business mainly deal with the CEOs, senior management, and those guys, they like to face-to-face, they like the interaction with us in that way. So we didn't have the online things. Being forced to do so in March, we have to quickly start thinking of how we can change some of the content we have to deliver it online, because delivering courses online is a lot difficult than face-to-face, because you don't see the person, you cannot react to their emotion, you cannot react to their cues when you're talking to somebody, their hands, their eyes, their face. So you have to change the content online, and you have to make it smaller smaller chunk, not a bigger chunk as before, 3 full days or 5 full days. That's completely different now. People cannot stay behind the laptop for hours and hours, and you have to keep them motivated. So everything has changed. So we have to change the content. So we did that in April, May, but of course, at that particular time, the whole world was mainly in curfew, if you want to. So we didn't have much luck with any training because most of the staff, they've been furloughed, or most of the staff in other countries are at home, not working.
Do you see a lot of businesses wanting a refund because of that?
We have to empty the bank. Yes, we empty the bank. We have to give the money back to the customers because that's their money, and we haven't delivered the courses. And being a pandemic, we cannot, of course, say, sorry, you paid for the course. You're not going to pay the money back. So of course, we are being a responsible company. We work with the client closely, and some of the clients we know since we started the business, working with them.
Did you get government support on that? Because were you able to get any sort of income to support you over that period and some of those trainers?
Yeah, true. The only support we get is the scheme, the furlough scheme. That's the only support we have got from the governments. We didn't get any other compensation, for our type of business. So now we haven't got anything, from the government apart from that. And of course, the bounce back loan, which is the government guarantee later on with the COVID. But no, we don't have any other support from that side. But even, these businesses who take a loan, if their business model not change, take a loan, just an extra burden on your business. You still have to pay it back.
You were able to furlough your trainers, so you were able to offer some support to them. So you did take advantage of the bounce back loan, or you didn't because you just felt it would be an extra burden?
For our business, luckily we cash rich in our business. I believe I should, money should stay in the business myself. I always a good believer in that side. So we always have business, money to keep us for a couple of years ahead if we have zero income coming to us as a business. So I believe to keep some money in the bank, not take everything at the time. So we are strong in that way.
I love the fact that you got a smile on your face when you talk about all the challenges that you've been through. No, I can't say many business leaders I've spoken to have been like that. So it's delightful that you are really taking it on the chin, and you've got this positivity about you. It must be the fact that you have a PhD in philosophy. That must definitely help you be able to get through this.
The thing is, you have to keep a cool head when everybody losing their head. You cannot be, as a leader, lose your head as well. People follow you, and you have to steer the way forward. You cannot lose your head at that time. You have to keep a cool head. So I believe that, yes, of course. Otherwise, if I lose my head, what's happened to the staff, to the people, to all the direction of the company? You have to stay cool.
So we've got over the initial impact. I just want to talk about leadership and you as a business leader, and then we'll go back into the business conversation. In lockdown, how did it change your perspective? Or did you just want to get away from the family even more?
Well, I've been married for 30-something years. It's the first time I spend that amount of time with my wife, for something. So I started to get to know her from...
But you're still together, yeah?
Still together, yeah.
Excellent.
Personally, it has affected me personally. Of course, myself, I did suffer from the coronavirus. I was hospitalized in the hospital for a period of time from the 26th of March. So I did suffer myself personally, and it was 50-50 chance of survival at the time. So it did affect me personally, of course, from that side, as well as, my look to life. In the end, there are two elements. You've got the financial crisis, what we have in 2008, and now we have the human crisis in 2020, sorry. So this is different type of crisis. This is a human crisis, not the financial crisis. So you have to look at your staff, your employees, your family, your things as the most important things in life. Money comes and goes, but people, you cannot replace them. So yes, it has, not everything in life is just about money, but also it's about the human being and families, friends, employees, and everybody else.
So you've become softer, basically, as a leader now. You've come back into the office. Yeah?
It's surprising for me. I'm usually not very soft, which is very simple.
Excellent. Well, look, I'm glad you're here with us today and survived successfully through that COVID period. I want to understand now, moving forward, what have you been doing to get operational again?
We're back in the office in here full time, but we have been working from day one, so we haven't stopped working, to be honest.
Yeah. Have your days got longer working?
No, I would say shorter, because you have so many interruption at home. You cannot really concentrate your mindset on that side. Some jobs, yes, you can, others you cannot. I'm one of those type of person who's out and about and who like to engage with people face-to-face type of things. But yeah, but we have been working from day one. We haven't stopped. We change, as I said earlier in the conversation, we looked at the webinars, we changed the content, we reduce the amount of hours within the content, if you like, to suit, and we make it more interesting for the learner in terms of what we do with it. So it's like a bite-sized type of things, lots of break in between, okay? And you do it that way because also we have other challenges with the technology. Technology is not perfect, as you know, and in some other countries the connectivity is not that great. We use Cisco WebEx ourselves, and we use Zoom, but Cisco WebEx is the main thing. And in some countries the bandwidth there is not great, so you lose connectivity. So you have to be cheerful. You have to forget, you got an issue with that connectivity, and concentrate on the training. Little, more breaks, more interactive, more exciting for the trainee, because otherwise you cannot sit, as I said, for a long time in front of the laptop talking to you. So you have to create a safe environment. You have to create the trust with the trainee, as with your GBs, when everything you don't see them, you're talking over the Zoom or what have you. You have to create that trust. You have to make it more exciting, more interesting, with that side, and you have to listen more, because when you're doing the webinars and audio or visual, you have to listen more, because as I said, when you are in the class face to face, you can look at other cues, you can look at the hands movement, eyes, things, you can figure out the learner what they want. But with the online, you have to listen more, so you have to learn how to listen to deliver a good training course. So yes, we've been working on that and developing our skills. We have 150 trainers working for us around the world, and it's been a challenge, to make sure we're all singing from the same sheet.
Let's talk about those 150 trainers and operationally. Understand you've gone digital. Effectively, that's changing your operating model. Is that going to change your costing model moving forward as well? And also, I'd like to talk about some forecast around what you think, what are you anticipating in terms of numbers for the rest of the year? Obviously, you were delivering 120 courses a month, 30 a week, 150 trainers. What's your forecast and planning look like for the next quarter, at least next quarter, the next 12 months?
Okay, well, with any business, when you plan something, especially at this time of, this crisis, you have two dynamics to look at. The first thing is a depth dynamic. How deep is, you're affecting your business? Is it less than 50% or greater than 50%? What do you do? And the next thing you look at, the other dynamics, is the duration of this pandemic. We're looking at China, we're looking at Italy, we're looking at other countries, how they came out of it and what they're doing. So for our business, the challenges for us in particular, I'm not talking about here as an international business, not the UK. As international business, we deal with so many countries, and those countries are different cycle of the corona. So that's an issue for us, which is making it extremely hard to figure out at this point of time. But what we are doing, we increase our marketing heavily. We introduce courses relevant to what we have at the moment, what we're facing, the issues we're facing at the moment, about the changing world, about things. And we've noticed lots of customers, they're not asking for soft skills, they're not asking for mental stress issue, they're asking for financial issues. They want to learn more about the finance and how to survive. They want to learn about the business, how to survive. So we've seen a shift on the courses, on the inquiries from that side to the financial, to more specific to their job. So I mean, I think now increased numbers of inquiries. I'm hoping towards the end of the year we'll start to regain at least 60-70% of our business. That's what I'm hoping. Providing everything goes well, providing there is a vaccine somewhere in the horizon, and otherwise, we have to revamp or do more marketing in the webinar side from ourselves.
Yeah. Are you starting to see transactions come back? For someone who's working in about 20 countries, you've got yourself a job there communicating with these local businesses to understand what's going on in those countries. Yeah. So what are you seeing? Where are you seeing movement? Where are you starting to get operational again?
We start to see a slight improvement in the Middle East. We started this week, we had a few registration face-to-face in Istanbul. People coming out from the Middle East, from Qatar, from Saudi, so that's the first time we had since March, the first time physical booking we had. So now I start seeing inquiries. We will start to book for November. We have some customers yesterday from Morocco. We're dealing with the Moroccan British Chamber of Commerce in Morocco. We are exclusive delivery partners for them. We have also some face-to-face booking in November, So we start to see slight improvement on the face-to-face side of it. I'm hoping it all depends, as I said, it all depends, on the virus in each particular country. They're not all the same.
What are you forecasting in regards to the future of learning? Do you forecast a change in the way A, people consume content, and B, do you anticipate that people won't be spending as much in terms of learning and development?
It's a short blip. I think things will change again in the future to how it was before. They've done a study with 400 students from the UK and USA, graduate students, and they're asking about the future. And the biggest fear they have, they're not trained enough on the artificial intelligence and automation. There's a huge need for training people again. I think that will come back again. But while you are struggling, most companies, they make classic mistakes. The first budget they cut is usually marketing and training. That's the first budget they cut because they panic and they want to protect their costs, which are understandable sometimes. But some other times might be it works against you. So you have to be careful, what you do. Still, even in lockdown, people working from home, you need to make sure they understand the technology. You need to be sympathetic with them, with those guys who've been working at home now. They have maybe no previous experience in it. If you look before the COVID-19, only 15% of companies have online platform, for learning. So things that will change going forward. Will change. I think will be more shift for the online learning than face-to-face, 3 days, classic 3 days side of it. So I think that will definitely change. And I think most companies will change. And this forced most companies' hand, from being relaxed about things and not bothered about the technology, now force their hand to start thinking about the technology. And most businesses start to trust their employees. Before, one of the biggest issue, leaders, management don't trust the employees working from home because they're taking a holiday, sitting at home, chilling out, doing nothing. Now they can see there's a productivity, you can do the productivity from home. So you need to think how you can manage, distance working and make sure you get the best out of the employees. But at the same time, you still have to train those employees in the technology and the artificial intelligence and the automation, which is gonna, come in soon, and we're already experiencing at the moment.
I see it as an opportunity. I think education is changing. Is it worth getting a degree? And what place do universities have in the modern workplace? But I'm also trying to understand, in terms of leadership and development toolkits, how that ecosystem is changing. Obviously, we're creating content here, which is, to inform and educate as well. So I'm trying to understand what that shift is, how people are starting to consume information, and how they're utilizing it to become more resourceful. I am worried whether the right type of content is out there for the type of skills and the people that we need, because I think there's a shortage of the softer skills of commercial awareness, communication, becoming business owner with that mindset of being. I also believe that there's going to need to be a shift. We've got a bit of a challenge because we've got under 25s who predominantly have been graduates, gone out, got job, retail, hospitality. They're going to struggle. And then we've got the more mature market.
I mean, government and businesses have to work together to create the environment to graduate and to unemployed people and to people who's losing their job during the COVID, and prepare them for the next challenges. And it should be a partnership from there. I mean, I'm one of those guys, believer in that. I don't mind ourselves paying some of the taxes towards that area. So anybody who's losing their job, there's some money for them into one side to retrain them and get them back to job environment. Most of the failures I have seen in terms of graduates and everything else, most people, they link success at the school or the university with success in life. It's not the case. People put so much pressure on their kids. You must get the 3 A's, whatever. You must do this and you must do that. And when they come out to real life, they don't have that skills to survive in the real life. So you need also to make sure you train your kids, you train your graduates to be prepared to the job market. That's something. And in terms of the changes we have seen ourselves in the courses, yes, we are introducing specific courses for post-COVID. until, changing words, leading from, distant leadership, how to survive through crisis. All of those courses we have introduced to the business in a short bites, not in a bigger ones, to get the message across to the clients, to the customers. Because end of the day, we're all in it together. We all need to survive. It's not good just us surviving and others not. We all have to be there in the market. So we make sure we help our clients as much as we can. I mean, the good thing about our business, I'm not making advert here, but our after sales is excellent. Once you've done the course for us, we don't stop there. You can ask us in a year, 2, 3, 4 years time, anything you want, we'll always be there for you to support you. And the reason why you need to bring people up to the scratch, in the job market. So yes, things will change. I think education itself is not enough. You need to prepare for the artificial intelligence world and for the automation world. And also the people who's not on those particular jobs, also you have to train them, because about artificial intelligence automation will be other jobs which doesn't rely on that area. So also you need to train those guys on that area. So there's lots of changes, and where is it going to take us from here? I mean, the technology, digitalization is the only way forward, from what I can see.
Now, you're working in loads of different countries. Are you partnering with any of the governments to provide any sort of training?
I mean, if you look at our customer base in the Middle East, for example, Saudi, 70% of employees are government employees. So yes, we are dealing with various departments with the governments from Saudi Arabia, from Qatar, from United Arab Emirates, from all those countries. Before, people set aside a budget to one side and they forgot about the outcome of that particular training. So people come in, do the 5 days, 3 days, and they go back, and nobody asks them, what have you done? What have you learned? What can you share that learning with other people? Now I've seen things have changed more. I've seen people more, the leaders, the human resource management leadership. Now they are taking more hands-on approach now with their trainees, and they check on everything else, and they make sure they are benefiting from that training. So things are changing, and also we are doing training need analysis with some of the departments, and we have to see, okay, what else we can help them with. And from that, we moved to consultation recently, which we didn't offer before. Now we're offering consultation to some of the companies where we look at everything from their management to finance to logistics, all sorts of things. And we're having some success, and hopefully we'll be published that shortly. So yes, for example, look at Lebanon or Jordan or some of the countries I've been looking at. I mean, Lebanon, you've got 35,000 graduates every single year. Only 5,000 graduates find jobs, and the 30 other thousand, they have nothing. So that means there's an imbalance somewhere. Not everybody wants to be an engineer, not everybody wants to be a doctor, not everybody wants to be something. So you have to you work with the industry for the best possible outcome. The biggest mistakes now, if you're looking at the UK side of it, most of the human resource employees are furloughed. So if those guys are not working, not at the office, they've been, furloughed from March till October, that's your human resources. You're already cutting the budget in that area. You're already not spending money in that area. So yes, lots of businesses have cut their budget on that area, 100%. I would say 3/4 of them have cut their budgets on the learning and development during this crisis, because most businesses panic. And if you are a listed company, you care about your shareholders as well. So you need to make sure you're giving the benefit to your shareholders. April, May was a very tough month for us. Now we start to see gradually building up, the income for the company. Now I would say like 25-30% start to come back for us through the webinars at the moment. Okay, yeah. It's not a great deal in terms of our, but something start to come back. So I can see gradual month by month uplift from June up to now. Every single month we have an uplift on that side. As people start to realize it's something they have to live with, they start to walk around it in that way, Kay. So now things have changed a little bit. I think for our business, I can't see 100% going back to normal till mid next year.
Does that mean for 150 trainers that you have, how many of those will you be looking to back?
Unfortunately, there's always casualty, which is that's a sad thing about, when you're having recession you're going through. I mean, this is a very steep recession, let's face it. And as businesses, you cannot survive at the same cost as used to be before. So I think one of those unfortunate things is, you say, you do it with a heavy heart, you don't do it with a light heart. You do it with a heavy heart, you have sometimes to let people go. It's not one of those, it's the last decision, but it's the hard decision, but also sometimes could be the right decision for the company and for the remainder of the employees within the company.
Have you started doing that process, or are you looking at doing it moving forward because you're trying to hold it off just to understand the markets a little bit more?
Well, we're testing it now with some of the staff back at the office now. We're testing it more and more now. We're looking at see how things will improve between now and next month. Obviously, the furlough scheme finishes next October. Then business start to look at their cost. Can they survive? How long can they survive for? How much they need to cut their budget by? It's something I haven't looked at it yet. Thinking about it, I haven't looked at it. You have ideas, but you put them in the back burner for now.
A lot of people are doing scenario planning to understand what those scenarios look like. And what's very difficult is to forecast and plan when you don't know what the future is going to look like.
Two things. From the corporate training companies, also they might face challenges because some of the companies, they might start bringing training online, which is what they're doing at the moment, bring it in-house and do it in a platform, which is like, buy those training things for 30, 40 pounds, whatever you buy, small bits, and do the training in-house. So some of the corporate companies, some of the training companies, definitely they will lose. I'm speaking to, I know 16 companies in the Middle East. I had some dealings with them before. They closed down because they cannot survive, this issue. So some of the businesses will move to their own online platform, learning and internally, and therefore they there's no need for using other training companies unless they have something specific they want to teach. So there'll be changes for also training companies as well as companies who are receiving the training. So I think it's the future at the moment uncertain in terms of how is it going to pan out next year. Will the economy start to bounce back? Will people have more confidence? Because when you have the confidence, people they forgot about what happened before and start and move on again. So let's hope it does not last more than middle of next year, because if it does, I think there'll be lots of more casualties in the market.
Do you compare this recession? I know we said it's a health crisis, but if we were looking at from a business standpoint, how would you compare the previous one to this one in terms of impact?
I think this one will be shorter because this one, it was rapid. Like a V-shaped type, Hobbes V-shaped type of recovery. It's very short and hopefully bounce back again. While 2008, 2009, it was a financial thing. It was the bloodline of businesses where banks not lending money to the businesses. I think that took longer to bounce back and come back. I think this one will be a lot shorter.
What do you think learning's going to look like in 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, I think will change. I think earlier in the conversation, I said only 15% of companies, they have their digital online learning system. I think during this crisis, I think things will change. I think maybe talking about 3/4 of them will start digitalizing their learning system 100%. I think that will move rapidly. Now, the last 6 months, it has moved things, which is something we should have done it years ago, to be honest. Moving online and doing other things online. We should have done that years ago. Now it forced our hand to move very fast and very quick. So I think we'll have a great uptake on that side. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. I've really enjoyed this conversation. I'd love to bring you back in Q2 of 2021. With that said, guys, look, I hope you enjoyed this conversation. The best way someone can get in contact with you?
We are on every single platform. You can Twitter, on Instagram and Facebook, or you can just email us at info@londontfe.com.
Well, I'll include that into the links. And thank you so much. Great to talk to you.
Thank you, Kian. Stay safe. Thank you.
And you too. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.